I'm Chip Townsend, and this is the Team Chip Podcast. All right, guys, this is Chip Townsend with Team Chip Podcast. I'm honored, I'm humbled, I'm excited to be here. I have the one and only Mr. Ron Sell. Mr. Ron Sell is the, I believe, owner. You can correct me on titles, operator, president of Spark. And so Spark membership, it's a CRM, an amazing CRM that we've recently transitioned into with our schools. And we're absolutely loving it. And just wanted to get you on here and chat about CRMs and maybe a little bit about Spark and share some nuggets with us. It's great to have you, Mr. Ron. How are you today?
I'm so good. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I'm great. Thank you.
Yes, sir. It's good times. And man, I think we're living in just amazing times, man. Technology, life, we live in the safest and healthiest times we've ever had, man. And it's just like such a blessing, right?
Yes, sir. Future is unbelievably bright, especially for martial arts schools and martial arts school owners and their teams. So I'm really excited just to be a part of the martial arts industry and where we're going 2025 and beyond. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I couldn't agree more. I love it. I think we just have such a unique platform for touching lives physically, mentally, spiritually at times, just the way that we can impact lives I say it all the time in the podcast. I think it's just so unique and so powerful. If you're out there doing this and you're not hyper passionate, man, you might need to rethink what you're doing, because we have, again, I think you're right, such an opportunity in front of us. I wanted to jump on today and talk to you about, I use the term CRM. I'm kind of a dummy. I'm not that tech literate. So CRM, customer relation management software, tell me a little bit about what that is and why that's important. And in a quick qualification question, some of our listeners may be like young instructors, early in their schools, or they might be years into their schools, but sometimes they're like, why would that serve me? So can you tell us a bit about CRMs and how that works?
Yeah, well, I can. I think CRM is kind of an old school term, but I don't know if there's anything that's new that's replaced that term. But yeah, you're right. It's a customer relationship management. Martial arts schools, we're in the relationship business.
Right.
And that's what we're in, right? We're in the business of helping people in our community become better versions of themselves, right?
Absolutely.
And to do that, you have to have a relationship with these students. Now, I'm not saying It has to be a super personable, we're best buddies type of a relationship, but it has to be a relationship where that we have influence over their lives and we can speak into their lives and we can encourage them and cheer them on and teach them some really amazing things that's going to make their lives better. And to do that, you have to have a relationship. A lot of times, if you want to grow, and I hope everybody does want to grow. The reason why I say I hope everybody wants to grow is this. We have the power as martial arts instructors to really impact our communities in a very powerful way. I mean, I can think back in my 23 years of owning martial arts schools. When I say schools, I mean that. I've had 3 schools that I owned for 23 years. And when I look back, I remember all the good things that me and my team did for people in our community. I mean, kids that were bullied, they're not bullied anymore. Adults that were stressed out to the max, relationships are failing, having tough times with their jobs, totally transforming their lives. And everything in between, confidence that was built, respect, discipline, who knows where some of those students that we trained 23 years ago are now, right?
Right.
I mean, we really impacted them. And so my goal was always, how do we spread that word to more and more people? Because I believe that martial arts is what is going to transform our entire world. And we do that in our communities, right? And so I want everyone to grow, because if we grow, then we spread the good news, the good message that martial arts is going to help you, right? If I think back to so many info calls we got, and they're like, yeah, my kid's doing really bad in school. And I'm like, well, what's going to happen if that continues? Well, he's going to get bad grade. What happens then? Well, then he's not going to like school anymore. Well, what happens then? And you go down this path that we don't want kids or adults going down, right? And we have the power to help transform that. And so I know you asked about computer software, but this is really the essence of why we have a CRM. We want to you got in this business, Chip. I mean, I remember watching you on stage at the US Open breaking stuff, you and your wife.
Yes,
I remember every year cheering you guys on. But
yes, sir.
We got in this business because martial arts probably did something for us.
For us, right. Absolutely. It was life-changing for us. And then it's like, I want to give this gift back, right?
Right. Exactly. That's what you want to do. As instructors, that's what you want to do. Now, as a business owner, you got to keep the lights on. You got to pay your people well. You got to be a professional. You've got responsibilities. But really, in your heart, you just want to be a martial arts instructor and you want to help people. But you have all this whole other side: marketing, sales, communication, keeping track of people. What belt is Johnny, and when did he come to class last, and why is Mrs. Smith here in our adult program? Like, you've got to keep track of all this. And when you have like 100 students, it's easier to keep track of, but you'll still forget stuff.
Right. I vividly remember the days of, 100, even 150, where you're kind of doing everything by yourself. You're counseling, every car that drives up in the parking lot, every grandparent, and then today I walk into my school and I actually have so much internal guilt sometimes because I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know all these little guys. I want to know them, but I don't. But anyway, we
Well, yeah.
digress.
I mean, you're speaking to exactly why I created Spark, and that is, let us help you keep track of all that so that you can focus on what you want to do. Let us keep track of your leads and your marketing and your sales and what belt, someone is and when they're due for the next belt or stripe. Let us keep track of, let it be easy for you to send out a text message campaign and an email campaign informing your students of something that's going on cool in your school, trying to nurture your prospects and educate them on why martial arts is going to help change your life. Let Spark do all that so you can do what you really want to do. And the reason why I know this is because I was that guy. You see, I
Right.
never created Spark to sell to other schools. Never once crossed my mind. Didn't need another job, didn't need another company. I was already doing really, really well in martial arts. Loved teaching martial arts. Loved being an instructor. Loved being a leader of my team. Loved all that. Didn't want anything to do with selling another thing. The reason why Spark came along is because I wanted to make it easier on me and my team.
Right.
All right. I wanted to, it wasn't really a money thing either. I didn't need to make more money in my martial arts school, although that happened once we started instituting the software into our daily lives inside my martial arts school. Some really crazy things happened. Stress went away from me and my team. Like, it was much easier, right? Like, we didn't have to worry about, things falling through the cracks. And so I think that's why the CRM is so important. Even if
Mhm.
you are a small school, let's say you have 50 members, but you want to grow, you're growth minded. You don't want to stay at 50, 100, 150 for long, but you have 50 students. So you don't really have the money to pay for another full-time or even part-time employee to keep track of all this. You need software like Spark. You need it because you're, for, I don't know, if you're paying someone $8 an hour or $10 an hour times, even 20 hours a week, part time times 80 hours a month is way more money than what Spark is. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
tons
It's
more,
like,
tons more.
I
Yeah.
hear even small schools say, I don't, when I can afford it. I'm like, you can't, if you want to grow, you
You can't
can't
afford
afford
not
not
to.
to have it because
Exactly.
you
Well,
can't afford the part time employee.
that's kinda where I wanted to go with this because I think sometimes I know early for me, I avoided it because I didn't wanna spend that money, it's like, but it was so let's talk real quick. You're talking about how let's back up a couple of steps. I think in business, there's, the dichotomy of the mat. And a lot of times, like you said, you're exactly right. We get passionate about what martial arts does for us. We see an opportunity to give that back. Oh, by the way, I might can make a living at this and fail to realize I've got to market. I've got to go establish my assumed name and set up some sort of business formation. I've got all of these things to do. And then I've got to track metrics. My passion on the mat is one thing to be out there just blowing it away and having great classes. But at the end of the month, are we growing? Are we shrinking? How are things operating? And so can you speak into just a little bit some kind of black and white things, ways that Spark or a CRM saves time, because you said it does save time and it does. It's absolutely awesome. And I'll tell you, I didn't get on here to make an advertisement for Spark, but we just switched out of a CRM that we've been in for years. We were pretty happy with it. Uh, a little bit of trouble customer service. Sometimes we felt like communication was tough. We jumped to Spark, and I'll tell you, man, we have been 99.8% just booming, please. And it has saved us time. We already see a little bit of a return in revenue growing some, and we think some of it's from I hate to use the word automations, but the automations that are built into Spark, the way that it operates. So anyway, how does CRM save time? How does that help a young guy out there running a school?
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, it just helps you get organized. I don't know about you, but when my life is more organized, I feel better mentally. I feel better
Mhm.
emotionally. I feel better spiritually because things are organized, right? And if things are going everywhere and you're not organized and you've got a little bit of chaos and maybe you're spinning too many plates all at once, you're not going to be doing the things that are going to grow your business because you don't
That's
have the
right.
time.
Mhm.
It's
That's
sucking
right.
all of your time doing menial tasks that are important. You know, there's a lot of tasks that you have to do. You must do. They're important, but it's just like it just sucks the life out of you and your time. And if you allow that to continue for years, which I've seen people do this for years, 10 years down the road, and they're still in the same spot because they're still spinning all these plates. So just getting organized is going to save you so much time and mental debt and,
Mental
time
bandwidth.
just doing that. Okay.
So Ron, I'm reading a book right now. It's super good, and one of the things he talks about, and I thought I would throw it in here because when you said chaos, young entrepreneurs, I guess I just say entrepreneurs in general tend to sometimes be attracted to chaos. Many
Yeah, for
times they've
sure.
had kind of a chaotic life coming up, and that's what attracts them to, hey, I'll gamble, I'll go after this. I'm not,
Yeah.
and so I think it's awesome. You're saying that may be counterintuitive for this young entrepreneur that's out there going, I kind of like the wildness of this, but man,
Sure.
when you get up in the morning and your house is straight and you know you're coming home to a clean house at night, it just makes things feel better. That organization, right? That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So, hey, listen, if you like the chaos and you're addicted to it, because like me, listen, man, last I have 6 kids and I run 5 companies and we have a little over 100 employees. My
Wow.
life is like, and me and my wife do crazy fun stuff nonstop with our kids. Like
Right.
we're an active family. Last Friday night, there was no hockey, no martial arts, there was nothing. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, what are we gonna do? It's Friday night. And we have nothing planned. I couldn't believe that, I found that out at 4 o'clock p.m. on a Friday because that's kind of I like that lifestyle. If you love it, just channel that energy into something that's going to really grow your business. Pick up a marketing book or start, do more sales or marketing. You can still get organized, and that's what happened to me when I started implementing Spark in my own martial arts school, and I started getting more organized in my own, places. Back then, I know Chip, you're old school too, man. We used to go to a filing cabinet and pull out a filing cabinet, pull out a person's agreement, right, and look at that stuff,
Yes.
right? I mean,
Yes.
but once you start really getting organized, you can start directing that energy and that, mental chaos in a direction that's going to be way more profitable because that's what happened to me. And it happens to thousands of our Spartans is like, man, now they have the time to do the things they've always wanted to do. They can work on their business instead of constantly spinning plates working in their business, right? Here's another thing. You mentioned automations. Yeah. This is a relationship business and some things should never automate. I'm an automation company and I believe there's some things you shouldn't automate like that one-on-one touch, but there's so many things you can automate, like you alluded to, that will take it off your plate so you have more time to actually create those relationships. Another thing, a lot of times people are using Excel for reporting and they're using, I don't know, some other uh, emailing software, another thing, a software for SMS. They're using this and that, and it's not under one roof, and they're kind of duct taping all this stuff together, and things are they're falling through the cracks, and they're spending more time trying to maintain, all of this duct tape between all these softwares. Where you just use, something like Spark, and it's just so much quicker and easier, and it's there, and nothing falls through the cracks, and we keep track of it for you. I think that is super powerful for you know
Well, for us, Ron, I'm sorry to cut in on you. That was probably like our second big reason that we jumped to Spark because we were doing exactly that. We had CRM and then we had the duck paste in Texas. We call it we baling wire things, right? We had the texting app, kind of attached to the side, and we're having to go to 14 places to receive messages. We love that everything comes into that funnels into one spot, and it makes it so much better. But man, it's so spot on what you're talking about in saving time and not having to. I remember the days of the ring binder and opening the file and going, now where's their at? Where are they at on their agreements? It was such a clunky time. So
it was, yeah, for sure, 100%. So there's just a lot of stuff built into Spark that will just help you, become a more streamlined and let you focus on what you love. I want you on the mat. I want you changing lives. I don't want you, trying to become a computer scientist and grab a degree and to run your business. I don't want that.
right. For sure. Well, and you were talking about, I mentioned that dichotomy of you have the mat and you're passionate, you got the students, but you got to have somebody talking to people, selling, closing the deals, tracking attendance, tracking revenue, making sure payments are being made, the bills are. So there's this whole other side. And one of the things that I love about Spark as well is that dashboard. Pop it open. You have instant metrics that you can kind of glance at every day. I'm a little bit of a metric nerd now. And so I really like knowing, okay, here's where our active are. Here's who's attended the last 7 days, 30 days, all of these things that pop on that dashboard that are so powerful and so important. And we don't have to stop everything and spend 30 minutes kind of digging through the files to see who's here and who's not. And we're not having to memorize everything. I think that's one of the problems that I've had in the past is I had a very wise teacher one time that told me in college, he said, Chip, your brain is for processing and paper's for remembering. And today it's digital paper, it's CRMs, right? But the point of it is we burn up so much bandwidth trying to remember the stuff we need to do, and then it's harder to take action because we don't have the all the tools we need to do that. So, man, it's been a monster time saver for us in our school. Speak to maybe just a little bit the young martial arts school owner that's just getting started. He doesn't feel he's prepared for a CRM. I encourage those guys, start it now anyway. Spend that little bit of money and start right from the beginning and don't have to add it later, learn it later. So anyway, speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I agree too. When I first started selling Spark, okay, letting other schools use it, my belief system back was then, man, it's a couple $100 a month. A small school can't afford that, and so I turned away thousands of small schools. And then one day, I was talking to a client, and he goes, "Hey, man, we're at 400 members now." And I'm like, "Oh man, that's great. What were you before?" He goes, "22." You were 22 members when you joined Spark, and then now you're at 400. I was like blown away. I'm like, I have been doing all of those thousands of people a disservice when I said you're too small to use something like Spark. You're too small to spend a couple. I allowed my belief system, my
Mhm,
limiting belief
mhm.
system, to be projected on all these small schools. And I'm like, my whole goal in life is to get more people doing martial arts. That's my goal. My goal is not to sell more martial arts software. All right. If that happens by a product, I'm fine with that, obviously. But if I can get more people in our communities doing martial arts, that's what I want. And here was one school owner that went from 22 students to over 400 students. And he
That's
said,
amazing.
not my words, he says, I couldn't have done it without Spark because it kept me on track. I could see my KPIs. I wasn't spending all my time behind a computer. I was able to focus on growing. So if you're a young martial artist and you're young in a school, you have to become an expert salesperson. Yeah, but Ron, I'm not good at sales. I'm a good martial art. Yeah, I understand that. You just have to be. It's just part of it. You have to be a great marketer. You have to be able to communicate the benefits of martial arts. Then you also have to be the best martial arts instructor that you can absolutely be. Communication, leadership, motivation, all of those things. All right. And then on the business side, you also have to have something that's going to keep you on track, so, like Spark. And right from the get go, if people used it or anything, there's other companies out there that are similar to us. I think we're the best. I know that we're the best, but you have to have something because if not, and don't chintz out too. Like don't think, oh well, this is 79 bucks and this is like I have wasted so much time and money in my life going cheap. You don't have to do that.
Right. Well, you said something a while ago, and this is always so funny to me. People are like, you said people have to be great at sales. And uh I read a great book one time that really impacted me. I think it was like Life is a Series of Presentations. I can't remember who wrote it, but I read it like 15, 20 years ago. And it's so funny because you'll tell someone, hey, you need to be good at sales. And they'll go, oh, I could never sell. And they'll give you a diatribe and sell you for 30 minutes on why they can't sell. And it's like, you're passionate about the idea that you can't sell. If you were as passionate about your business or your martial arts, you could obviously sell it, right? So I just think that's really funny. And the whole premise of the book is every day from first impression to everything, we're constantly selling ourselves and how we speak, we carry ourselves, everything that we do. So anyway,
Well, yeah,
uh,
I mean, if I can, I'm going to take 30 seconds here and just kind of, sometimes it's just a mind shift. So I don't even like to use the word sales because I don't think we're doing that. I think we're enrolling people into becoming a better version of themselves. And I think that if you're a martial arts instructor, first of all, write down how martial arts has saved your life, helped you. What are all the ways? Really understand how martial arts has helped you. Then Once you start teaching students, and I know you do this, Chip, I'm sure, is that you start asking students like, how's this helped you? Like, well, how's your life different? And you start writing that stuff down. Then start asking for reviews on Google and Facebook, right? And start reading that stuff daily. Like, how is my martial arts program really impacting other people? And once you start reading that on a daily basis and you start believing that you're actually helping people, it's so much easier to start talking to other people about your martial arts. We call that marketing, okay? In the business world, talking to people about how great our program is and how it will benefit them is marketing. Sales, or what I like to call enrollments, is just inviting people to become a better version of themselves using our program. When you start that mental shift, I wish someone would have told me this when I was like 19 and I opened my first martial arts school, because I would have approached it so differently, because we do impact lives in a powerful way. We just got to get in front of more people and invite them to come in and do it.
Well, can I jump in? The word we actually don't say sales either. We use the word educating. I don't know why, but I tell my team constantly when you're doing a mat chat, you're mat chatting those kids if you're in front of kids or adults, but you're educating the audience. Everywhere we go, we're educating people about who we are and what we do. And again, kind of like you're saying, that's that marketing that's going on all the time. I love what you said. And there's so many strategies for getting that feedback. You said reviews, we do something we call the 8-step progress check I got from Dave Kovar, but and encourage people to give, hey, will you share a review, share something that you love about what we do. But man, I also have our students, write papers at different times in their training. And a lot of times in those papers, there's so much golden material of how martial arts is. And I love what you said. Go back and read that. It's like when you buy a book, you read it once and you set it in the corner and you never look at it. I'm marking books, I take notes, I do all this stuff because I'm like, I want to try to make this useful, right? So such powerful stuff, man. I love this.
And then to add one more thing, if you have a team, all right, you have a team, also known as staff. I call them team members, but if you have a team, you have to share this stuff with them nonstop. Anytime someone says something really nice about Spark, I screenshot it. I send it to my entire team. I'm like, look what you guys are doing, because I want them to buy into our vision. The same thing in martial arts school. We want our entire team to buy into the vision that we are impacting our community in a powerful way, right? And so letting our team know, hey, Johnny is more confident. He's not getting bullied anymore. I mean, how powerful would a team member like, I had a hand in that. I want to do more of that. I want to help more kids not get bullied. I want to help more adults get more flexible and less stress and get in better shape. And I want more kids to be leaders and teens to, not feel like they're depressed. I want more of that as a team. So we have to share it with our team members.
Man, I love that. So every week in our staff meetings, we very commonly, and pretty much every week it works out this way, we'll share some sort of feedback we've gotten through social media, through reviews. So I love that you're doing that. And I may have picked that up from you. I've got more aggressive with it for sure, because I know I sent a note, I think to you, just said, hey, really thankful for your team, something. And you messaged me back and was like, I'm sharing that with my team. Thank you for doing that. I loved it. And it creates this positive spiral. Like, I felt good. You felt good. Hopefully your team felt good. You know what I mean? And it's such a powerful thing. So I love what you're saying. Share the positive back to the team. And every week when we share those things, I tell the young guys, and I say young guys, younger instructors than me. And I say, guys, y'all are the ones making that happen. It's not me. It's you. You're the one touching those lives. And that's why we need you so bad and why you're so important and what you do is so powerful, right? That's so good.
100%. Yes, sir.
I
Yes.
love it, man. I love it. So I don't want to get on a negative note, but like when someone's implementing a CRM, what are some challenges they may run into, like plugging it in? And because I already know the answers to a lot of these because we've been dealing with you guys and we're having a great experience, but how do you help people with that? So what are the challenges and how do you guys help them out?
Yeah. So, first of all, I think the first thing is just fear of the unknown, which is crazy because in my life, I try to run into the unknown. I try to be uncomfortable as much as possible, and it's really worked for me. My life is a raging success because I'm not afraid of the unknown, but a lot of people are. And so they're like, well, what I'm doing now is comfortable. All right. Yeah, I'm spinning a lot of plates. Yeah, I'm upset with the current softwares, what they're doing, but it's comfortable and it's hard to make the leap, right? And so, that's one challenge. And another challenge is like, oh, but it's going to be so much work. I've got to learn a whole new system. I've got to move all my students over, and it seems like it's a real. But all of this really is just uncertainty, doubts, and fears. That's all it is. Because we've moved over 5,000 schools over to Spark already successfully.
Wow.
All
That's
right.
all.
So it really it's all in our head. And if someone will just jump in with both feet and say, you know what, I'm going to go for it. And I think the first thing is belief. And I appreciate what you said, Chip. We have 5,000 raving fans of Spark. That didn't happen because we paid them all. We'd go out of business, right? It happened because, we've invested in people. We've invested in a team of 100 people that are here to help you, that care. The reason they care is because they know. I tell them every day, right? I tell them every day why Chip Townsend and his team are in business, what they're doing in their community, and all of the other people, right? They bought into this. So we have a whole team, an onboarding team to train you and help you. Kim leads that team over there, and she will take as many. You probably dealt with Tim,
Kim, yeah, Kim, right? Kim, she's an absolute sweethart.
a
She's
gem.
she's helped us so much, so many times.
Yeah,
It's so
she's
good.
been with us forever. Like, when we get team members, they stick around forever, right? And they're just
Right.
good people. And so, all of these things that people think are hard are really not hard because we worked it out. We worked it out over and over and over. We have a team that'll import your data and clean it, make it nice for you. There is some work to do. There is work, but none of us got into business because we were afraid of little work, right?
Well, I would also say you're probably going to touch on this, but I love the instructional videos. You guys have lots of little short videos and a resource library where you can go. I'm having trouble with X. Go look at the video on how to do it, and that's been super helpful for us as well. I love that.
Yeah, we have it written. We have videos. We have a team, like real live people that are based right here. I'm at my office in Tampa, by the way. We just invested in a multi-million-dollar building to build better software. Like that, we just got here in April, so we're forward thinkers too, right? But they're all based right here in Tampa, and they're here to help you. And so, really, we have AI built into our help system where if you say, hey, I need help with this, the AI bot has resources and says, oh, go to 2 minutes and 12 seconds into this video and watch for 4 minutes. And there you go. Right. Like,
I'm, I'm smiling so big because the first time I met Sparky the bot, I was like, dude, what is this? I typed a message in and it starts thinking and boom, gives me this quick response. And it's like, wait a minute, that's pretty much exactly what I needed. Anyway, that's fun stuff, man.
yeah. So, I mean, we have it all. Right. And so honestly, it isn't a problem. Understand it's probably going to take you about 90 days to get integrated, but we're going to hold your hand all along the way. It will work for you. It works for everybody. You will have the support that you need. You don't have to worry. You don't have to have any fears or doubts. And it's made people really successful. And that's what we care about. That's how we measure our success, not by how big of a company we are or how many employees or any of that. We measure our success with how many martial arts schools are we helping to live their real dreams, to live, to impact their communities, and also, get wealthy in your martial arts school. You deserve it. I think you deserve more money than a doctor. You know what I mean? Because you're doing good works like they are.
Right. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. So, in a nutshell, it's typically fear of the unknown and unexpected that holds us back. It isn't that what we preach about on the mat all the time. Stop being afraid, be confident, understand you're going to have to work hard, but be willing to put in the hard work, right? So, it's almost counterintuitive to think a martial arts school owner would not want to step into a CRM, but I do
But
understand it
but
too.
we're human. We're all human. We're living this experience, man. And yeah, I get it. That's why we put so many people in place here at Spark to help people, get over that and move forward gently and nicely, just like you would your new white belt student that is struggling. We are here to do the same thing.
Right. I love it. It's so cool because, we're expanding our brand. And so we've got 2 corporate locations, we got 4 affiliate schools. I've got another affiliate school coming in after the first of the year, and I think there's close to Chicago. But we're really working to try to help school owners improve what they're doing, improve their curriculum in a lot of areas. And so it's so cool because you're getting to do this on a monster scale, Ron. And you're not just multiplying, but exponentiating the reach of martial arts when you take a guy from 22 to 400 because he plugged into your CRM and was able to really put his passion on the mat where it belongs. And that is so powerful, man. That's one of the reasons I wanted to get you on and talk to you because I do love what you guys are doing. I think it's so amazing. So I wanted to ask you, yeah, real quick. Can you that was cool, 22 to 400. Give me a couple more of those stories of people that you know that have had some big jumps based on getting organized and getting that CRM in place.
Yeah, I mean, I have countless stories of people during the pandemic that were this close to losing their businesses. I'm talking dozens, and they have come to me and looked me in the eyes, hugged me, and says, "Thanks for Spark, because if not, we would have went out of business." And they went back to where they were, like hundreds of students to nothing almost, back to where they were, because we held so many hands during that period. Because we're technology people, right? Most school owners aren't, and that's cool with us because we're going to be your technology partner, right? And so setting up the Zoom, say we were doing things like automatic attendance for the people that showed up to your Zoom. Like we connected to their APIs and all this stuff. So and we did that within days. I didn't sleep for about a week, but we had all that done in days so that a lot of these schools that didn't understand how to do that, couldn't connect Spark and Zoom and blah blah, were able to do that. So that makes me happy because there's hundreds of schools that would have went out of business if we wouldn't have done that. And that happens all the time. Where we're constantly adding more to the software, making it easier. We're about to launch something in January that's unbelievable, free to all of our Spartans, our members, that is going to totally transform their business again. Like I think I think that's what I'm most excited about is that we get to create some really cool things for people. Some of my heroes, you're one of my heroes, Mr. Townsend. Like I watched you on stage for years and years, and so when you became a Spartan, I'm like, man, I'm living my dream right now. And we have so many of those, Gracie families and all kinds of cool people that, you know what? But the guy that had 50 students is also one of my favorites because he was me, and I get to live vicariously through his startup again.
Yes. That's so cool. I love it, man. This is such good stuff, and I'm so proud for you guys and the direction you're taking. I want these nuggets. I'm hoping that people listening can get some nuggets to encourage them to take the steps they need to take to be successful, to grow, to get their passion on the mat where it belongs instead of being distracted in the office. Uh, so what are some, kind of, as we kind of wind down a little bit here, what are some words of wisdom for, I use the word young a lot, and young doesn't mean literally, but metaphorically, like young and owning their business, or young. And, I've got a new affiliate that's 58 and just opened his school. It's taken off like a rocket for him. And it's something they wanted to do for years and just never took the step. And he reached out to me and said, "Hey, I need a mentor. I've heard you're the guy." And I said, "I'll be happy to step alongside you and encourage you and kind of help you out." And so anyway, so when I say young, it's not an age young, but it's just kind of young in the business. What are some words of wisdom for those young guys out there opening the doors or in their first year or so struggling? Talk to them a little bit.
Yeah, well, I think I've touched on it a little bit before, but I'll restate a little bit. But number one is just believe in the power of what you do. The foundation of a great school is a great product. Our product in martial arts is great martial arts instruction, and it's also results for the students that come to us. See, our students come to us for a reason, right? They might say, "Hey, that looks cool on TV," but most people walk in saying, "You know what? I need to be in better shape, or I need to be bully proofed, or my kid is all over the place and he needs to kind of focus and hone that energy in a productive manner." Or there's a reason people came to us. The foundation of if we're going to be successful or not is if those students get what they came for. You see, if I went to the store and I wanted something and I didn't get it, I'm going to be disappointed. If I do that too many times, I'm never going back to that store. However, if you want a raving fan, you give them exactly what they want. So one of the ways that we do that in Spark is we have this intake form, and you hand them a tablet, and they, just like if you went to a dentist or a doctor, they say, "Here's what I want," and that's much easier to enroll people if we know what they were looking for. But it's also, are we tracking that they're actually getting that stuff, right? So become an incredible instructor. But it goes beyond that. I believe that you have to become an expert enrollment director, all right? Salesperson. You have to study it, get good at it, get great at it, get great at communicating the benefits of martial arts. Next thing, you have to be great at talking about it to other people. You have to become a leader and explain the benefits of martial arts, and you got to invite them to come and try it out. If you don't become an expert at that, you're going to struggle for years and years and years. The good news is it's easy. It's those fears, uncertainties, and doubts again. You're afraid of maybe someone saying no to you. Oh, that's fine. I get that. I was there. I used to be afraid of that stuff too. And maybe you have doubts that it's going to work. Well, just start believing in yourself. Start using that self confidence that you learned from the martial arts and apply that to your own business. And or maybe you think, man, I don't want to be seen pushy. Well, you know what? The people that have experienced really great benefits of martial arts, and you tell someone, "Hey, listen, it made me healthier." Maybe blah blah blah. That's not being pushy. That's actually sharing the good news. You know what I mean? So you just sometimes we have to reframe some of the fears, uncertainties, and doubts that we have in our mind, because that's how we're going to be successful, right? And the last thing I would say is don't be afraid of making really great money. You know, um, money always follows you doing a really great job. Money always follows the results. Money always follows you becoming the best at what you do, you becoming the expert in those areas that I mentioned. So, and then belief. The last thing I would say is just believe that it's going to work out, because it will. As long as I tell my kids, you guys can steal this. You've heard fall down 7 times, right? And then what's the rest of it? I say
Fall down 7, get up 8,
yeah, well, I
right?
say it differently to my kids. My kids know this is a mantra, and if I fall down 7 times, I'll get up 800 more.
Right.
Not one more, 800 more times. I'm going to keep getting up. And you know what? That's the secret to all success in life, right? We get knocked down, we'll get up 800 more times. So, and it's going to be a fun, wild ride for you as a business owner if you're young at this business, because you're going to see so many cool things and experience so many cool things, and you're going to help so many great people, and you're going to really impact your community in a powerful way, because it's what we do.
I love it. And that's the whole goal of kind of the teamship organization as well, is impacting communities, becoming a societal asset in your community, a way to give back and raise the value of that community through what we do. Well, man, Ron, this has been, yeah, thank you. This has been super powerful. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it's been packed full of good golden nuggets. So if people want to reach out to you, Spark membership, kind of talk to me real quick about how people can connect up with you.
Yeah, so I mean, you certainly can go to Facebook and type in Ron Sell. That's SELL. S is in Sam. Yep, ELL. You could go to sparkmembership.com. Can find us there. And yeah, just say hi on Facebook. It's great. I think there's ronsell.com, but I don't know if that thing's fully set up. I've,
Got it.
I've owned it for 14 years or 15 years, maybe 25 years, ronsell.com. But I think just recently my team put up a website. So maybe you can go there too.
Very cool. Well, Ron, I can't thank you enough for your time. Can't thank you enough for the development of Spark. It's been great. We love it and love being a part of it. And thanks for jumping on the show and sharing nuggets with us. Look forward to seeing you hopefully soon. I want to come out and check out the headquarters you got going on there. So maybe I'll get to come out and hang out with you guys before too long.
I love that. That would make my day.
Yes, sir. Mine as well. Thanks so much for being on, my friend. I appreciate you very much.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks.